What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. The U.S. State Department has agreed to sell mine systems to Taiwan. The price tag for new weapons is around $180 million US. Taiwan's government has welcomed the news. The M136 volcano system are typically mounted to trucks, which lay mines by firing them into the ground. Taiwan says the weapon will boost the country's asymmetric warfare capabilities, which can help to defend against a more powerful enemy. The sale announcement comes days after China flew a record number of warplanes near Taiwan's airspace. Beijing sees Taiwan as part of its territory and has not ruled out taking the country by force. The State Department needs to notify Congress before the arms sale can go ahead. Taiwan is considering a trial program that will include women in military reservist training from the beginning of next year. Defense Minister Gov't said the reservist program would be limited to women who have already voluntarily served in the armed forces. Women currently make up only 15% of Taiwan's 180,000-person strong military. The announcement comes the same week that Taiwan extended mandatory military service from men from 4 months to 1 year. After having rigorous travel restrictions in place for years, China is now preparing to open its borders again. But this comes as the country is experiencing the surge in COVID-19 cases. Japan and the United States have begun introducing testing requirements on travelers coming in from China. And now, Taiwan is set to do so as well. Gov't reports.
In recent years, COVID-19 testing like this has been an all-too-common sight at airports. Taiwan recently dropped its requirement for international arrivals to take one of these tests. But for some travelers, they're making a comeback. Starting January 1st, all arrivals from China will need to take a saliva PCR COVID test when entering Taiwan. Anyone who tests positive will have to quarantine for 5 days. It comes as China is getting ready to scrap its own inbound traveler quarantine requirements in early January. This is expected to trigger a wave of people traveling overseas. With China already experiencing its biggest COVID outbreak since the pandemic began, Taiwan is trying to minimize the chances of new strains entering the country.
主要我们还是锁定在说，因为中国的这个感染人口多，所以产生变异株的机会会大大的增加。那我们最在意的就是这个变异株，那能够及早侦测。
Chinese tourists are still not able to come to Taiwan. But over 30,000 Taiwanese nationals and their families living across the strait are expected to return home for the Lunar New Year holidays next month. The testing requirement is currently set to expire at the end of January after the holiday period ends. While China is seeing unprecedented infection numbers, Taiwan's own figures are also on the rise again. Almost 28,000 cases were reported on Wednesday, up almost 50% compared to the week before. Doctors predict this wave will continue to swell over the next month.
最高会到多少？这个是很难讲的。不过超过3万甚至超过5万都不是不可能的哈。最重要是你的住院人数有多少，医疗量能还够不够啊？然后是不是有很大的群聚？这些事情是我们需要关心的。
It remains to be seen whether Taiwan's new border restrictions can help slow the tide of its latest COVID wave. And with rising infection numbers, local authorities are urging people to see in the new year responsibly. They're hoping that this way, everyone can enjoy the holidays safely and in good health. Patrick Chen and Gov't for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's semiconductor giant TSMC celebrated the beginning of mass production using its 3-nanometer process technology. TSMC hosted the launch ceremony in southern Taiwan's Tainan City. Chips created using the 3-nanometer technology are set to mark a new generation of semiconductors. Several government officials, including the economy minister and Tainan mayor, attended the ceremony. TSMC did not hold launch ceremonies for previous chip process technologies. Analysts believe that the event may have been organized to quell fears that the company is moving production and the other operations overseas. Taiwan's governing party had said its poor performance in local elections last month was down to a loss of support from young and moderate voters. That's according to a report released this week by the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP. The analyst says the impact of COVID-19, inflation, and mandatory military service were important issues for voters. The DPP communicated poorly on these issues, the report says. Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen stepped down as chair of the ruling party last month after the DPP won only 5 out of the 22 city and county seats in local elections. Over 2,500 people died on Taiwan's road in the first 10 months of 2022. That's according to figures released on Wednesday by the Transport Ministry. This is the highest level in 9 years and a 6.2% rise on the same period in 2021. Traffic accidents are also up this year, with more than 400,000 people suffering injuries. Taiwan's traffic fatalities per 100,000 people are now 4 times that of Japan. The Transport Ministry says the figures are troubling and are partially due to the high number of scooter accidents which occur in Taiwan.
数字的确是让交通部非常失望。我们现在正在审查民免道安的补助经费，我们希望各县市政府提出对于他们道安改善有效益的这个方向。
Taiwan has committed to a 24% reduction in carbon dioxide emissions by 2030 as part of the government's net zero plan. Politicians gathered in Taipei on Wednesday to present the details of the $29 billion package. It's aimed at bringing the industrial country in line with global climate agreements. Taiwan has one of the highest per capita greenhouse gas emissions in Asia. It is also facing the effects of carbon-induced climate change. The plan commits Taiwan to the goal of net zero carbon emissions by 2050. In Egypt, the past and present are coming together in a new virtual reality project. A team of designers and architects are building a new world entirely in VR and inspired by the look and feel of ancient Egyptian cities. Gov't takes a look.
Welcome to Metatut. This is Egypt's first city in the online metaverse. It's a completely digital environment, one visitors can explore through virtual reality headsets, desktop computers, or mobile devices. This groundbreaking project has a special meaning for the country.
لأن احنا فكرنا ازاي الملك توت عدى 100 سنة على اكتشاف المقبرة بتاعته، ففكرنا ان احنا نعمل بلاتفورم نقدر نخلي الناس تدخل وتتفاعل جواه، تتفاعل بقى ان هي تتفرج على حضارة مصر القديمة، بتسمع حكايات التاريخ، بتتمشى جوه المدينة.
Tutankhamun, sometimes referred to as King Tut, ruled Egypt for 9 years around 1300 BC. He died at the age of 18 and is sometimes called the Boy King. The Metatut team took their inspiration from him to create this virtual world. They asked themselves what it would look like if Tutankhamun were alive now and able to complete the grand plans he had for his kingdom.
الفكرة من الستايل ده ايه؟ ان بنحط تصور لو الملك توت عنخ آمون رجع من الماضي ووصل للمستقبل، العمارة بتاعته هتكون عاملة ازاي؟ فهي عمارة مصرية لكن بشكل معاصر وحديث.
The virtual city currently has 4 main areas open to visitors, like the Valley of the Kings and the Sun Chamber. More are in development. One future section will focus on Queen Nefertiti, who some believe preceded Tutankhamun as pharaoh.
احنا كأول شركة فكرت في الموضوع ده في مصر، احنا مش شايفين ان احنا نبقى متأخرين عن العالم في التكنولوجيا. احنا بنقدر نستخدم التكنولوجيا بس نقدر نوظفها بالطريقة اللي تناسبنا وتخلينا متواجدين في هذا الواقع اللي هو sooner or later هيحصل.
Tutera, the company behind Metatut, is also looking to design a new city in Egypt to pave the way for space tourism. It's all part of their efforts to help Egypt embrace the future while holding on to its unique past. Eason Pan and Eric Gao for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care and see you next time.